Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, California Weather Watch. Today is May 30th, and right now we're looking at the mid-level water vapor loop. You can see the state of California. I'm circling it right here with the cursor, and you can see our upper level low right off of Baja, Southern California. That's going to be spreading some moisture northbound here as it starts to retrograde a bit. It'll allow for some of that moisture to ride back up over some of Southern California as we go through this weekend. We'll take a look at that in some detail. We'll take a look at this tropical system here briefly as well, a little early in the season, but not completely out of the ordinary. That is Alvin there, tropical storm Alvin. And then we'll take a look at what's to come through our extended forecast as well. And we've got some pretty warm days coming up here today and tomorrow, and a little bit of a cool down as we go through next week, but not much of one. The models have been changed on that. The trough position here across some of the Intermountain West has changed over the last few days, and we are going to go over those details as well. So here's the lightning strike density over the last 24 hours. You can see Baja was getting some associated with that upper level low, but nothing for California. A few thunderstorms there for Nevada, nothing for Arizona as well. And looking at the satellite imagery here this morning, I'm going to stop it right there. You can see kind of a mixed bag there. Once you go north of Los Angeles, you're dealing with some clear skies, Ventura, Santa Barbara counties, but you've got that marine layer butted up against the central coast towards the Bay Area, then kind of a mixed bag as you go northbound. And you can see Mount Shasta is right there. You can see it in Nevada and some of the dry lake beds out there and some of the desert areas of Salton Sea as well. And if you want to help support the channel, go to the Patreon page. The link is down below. Some people prefer that over supporting it via the YouTube channel, but you can also go to the community tab here and send me some of your weather images if you would like to do so. So looking at today, you can see no thunderstorms forecast for today for the state of California, but as we go through tomorrow, you can kind of see they did include some of Southern California and some of Southwest Arizona. Some of the Sierra Nevada is going to be back under the gun here as well. And there is day 3. This goes from Sunday morning towards Monday morning. A lot of Southern California can be under the gun there, and some in Northern California as well as the Sierra Nevada. So talking about the heat here, as you can see, we've got heat advisories all the way up except the very immediate coastline towards the Bay Area, and you see Eureka, Fort Bragg, Point Arena there, and not under that heat advisory. Once you get inland a little bit there, the temperatures are really ramping up today and tomorrow. Same thing, San Francisco Bay Area, kind of showing you that. It gets pretty close to the coastline there. There's Big Sur. So yeah, we're going to get pretty darn right warm once you get away from that coastline. And also just a heads up, there is some moderate fire danger out there. Pause this if you need to know what the triggers are and whatnot, and low relative humidities. And there is a chance for some thunderstorms across the higher terrain as well. So just going to keep that in the back of your mind. Now, San Diego National Weather Service is talking about this for, let me turn the sound off, and today and tomorrow. You can see Palm Springs as we go through Saturday night into Sunday morning. You can see Julian, Idlewild out there, Irvine at 25% by 5 a.m. on Sunday morning. San Diego at 25% here as well. So we are going to have some of this wraparound moisture from that low coming back up across the area. I'll show you that starting right now, in fact. And what I want you to watch for is these showers kind of moving up into Southern California. So as we go on in through the night tonight, we go through Saturday, just some mid and high level clouds kind of rolling through here initially very early Saturday morning. But then you see the precipitation start to increase there as we go on in through the day tomorrow. This is Saturday, and then you can see some heavier showers across Baja. We go on in through Saturday night into Sunday morning. So the moisture is still streaming north and northwest here across the area, and some of these could be producing lightning strikes, especially across the higher terrain. And then we go on in through Sunday morning, moving up across some of the desert areas. Las Vegas would be under the gun, places like Blythe, California, some of the desert areas in western Arizona as well. So let's look at the high resolution rapid refresh. This is looking at the Doppler radar over the next 48 hours. This model updates every hour. And you can see as we go through the day Saturday, some of those showers pinwheeling around that low start to move in as we go through Saturday afternoon. Some thunderstorms across the Sierra Nevada can't be rolled out Saturday afternoon as well. And then we go through Sunday morning here, and you can see those showers getting a bit more numerous here across some of the higher terrain, and maybe even moving out towards the coastal plain here as well as we go through Sunday morning. But yeah, this would have quite a bit of lightning associated with it across some of the desert areas, and again, western Arizona and Sierra Nevada at times also. So if we take a look at the upper levels of the atmosphere, why we call it an upper level low if you're a meteorologist? Well, just because it's more discernible at the 500 millibar, 18,000 feet up in the atmosphere. You can kind of see that thing pinwheeling and doing the funky chicken there for a bit as we go through Sunday. Then finally, you notice it starts to kick inland right there as we start to go towards Sunday. In fact, let me update this because I believe this model is running. The North American model is running running, and there it is. And you can see that low start to kick out across the southwest and eventually out over the plains. And another upper level low is going to take its position here right off the coastline there as we go on in through Monday afternoon. So taking a look at 500 millibar heights on the European. Again, you see how that retrogrades here and allows for some of that moisture to ride back up over the area and that southeast to northwest flow. And then we go through the weekend that kicks off to the north and east, and there goes our next upper level low, kind of taking up residence right across Southern California. And we'll see over the next few days what kind of impacts this will have across the region, and that swings through as well through the Intermountain West and out towards the Great Plains as well. So if we take a look at 850 millibar temperatures here, so we are, we're ramping things up. This is the 5-day running average, I believe. Is it not? No, this is just a 1-day running average, sir. So you can kind of see the bullseye for some heat aloft, which usually translates to some abnormal warmth at the surface. We scroll through this as we go through the weekend. You can see we get a little bit of relief, but we're still going to remain above average for some areas, especially interior areas, although the coastal areas will be getting back down towards normal or maybe a little bit below normal. And then you can see through the extended forecast, looks like maybe some ridging will keep things above normal as we go on into in the early portion of June here. We're going to June 10th and June 11th there, and kind of see those above average temperatures hanging with us. And if we take a look at the daily 2-meter max temperatures today, Friday, May 30th, you can see northern Sacramento Valley warming up quite nicely in hundreds widespread across the valley areas. Maybe Death Valley punching up over 115 degrees as well. Palm Springs looks like 102, I think that is. Now, if we look at Saturday, not much of a cool down. In fact, warmer for places like Bakersfield, Merced, Fresno, Sacramento, still up over 100 degrees. And then we go towards Sunday. We start to cool things down a little bit there. And, by Monday, we've cooled down some, but still a bit warm here across a lot of the valley areas. In Southern California, maybe topping out towards 80 degrees. And you see the coastal areas are nice and cool, relatively speaking, here compared to the interior areas. In the Bay Area, kind of a mixed bag. Once you get inland a little bit here, you warm up. But you go Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So no big cool down. In fact, as you can see, as we go through the extended forecast, we might keep some of this heat around us, some abnormally warm conditions, especially again for interior areas. Now, if we look at total precipitation in inches, just want to kind of go through this again as what is to come. And a lot of this precipitation is going to be occurring across the higher terrain. Here we scroll through Saturday afternoon, and you can kind of see across the Peninsula, Transverse Range into the Sierra Nevada, some of that precipitation gets going. And then we go into Sunday morning, additional rounds coming out of the south across Arizona, the desert areas. And again, these could have some prolific lightning producing tendencies with them as these showers are moving across the area. And then you see that kicking off to the east as we go through Monday. Next upper level low starts to drop down, but you can see it's not a real big precipitation maker. In fact, I don't even see much in the way of precipitation kicking off with that one just yet, but we'll be watching it closely. Now, taking a look here at the European Artificial Intelligence, you can kind of see Tropical Storm Alvin down there. It's got some good precipitation amounts out over the open water. Brings some up towards Cabo there, and some of that moisture will get pinwheeled back up towards the desert areas here as we go through the day on Sunday. Then you can see that moisture move off to the east there, and you see when all is said and done here, as we go through about the 200-hour period, we're not looking at a lot of precipitation, but some of those storms could drop some fairly heavy amounts with these individual storms. And you can see the Sierra Nevada, it's not a lot, but whatever. You can see that it's between a half an inch and an inch there. And then we scroll out through the next 10-day forecast and all the way out to the 15-day forecast, and not much in store thereafter. But if I back up there, you'll notice some of this precipitation, intertropical convergent zone is down to the south there, and maybe another tropical system roaming out over the northeast Pacific Ocean here. But that should be staying away from the land masses. Just kind of an interesting look at some of the tropical systems and what they do in this early season. It's usually too early for these to make their way up towards California or to the desert southwest for the most part as far as organized systems are concerned. So if we take a look at the GFS, put this into motion, and you can see the ridge that's giving us our warm temperatures. Again, there's our closed low off the coastline there. Again, pinwheeling some of that moisture back up into the region. And then we scroll through, that kicks out. We get another one, replaces it, but this one looks like a bit of a dry feature here as we go into the early portion of next week. And you see that ridging out here over the Pacific Ocean being quite dominant. The ridge set up right there, to be exact. There's the Hawaiian Islands, there's the state of California. And so that ridge, if that extends towards the west coast a little bit more, is going to allow us to warm up here as we go through the first week of June. So that's something we'll be watching over the next few days as well. Models have been in flux. They backed off on that trough quite a bit. That was going to cool us down a bit more, and now it's looking like things are going to remain a bit warmer here through the extended forecast. Now, looking at the tropical storm Alvin out there, you can see how it's going to rapidly weaken here as we go through tonight. It becomes a tropical depression and then eventually dies out by the time it goes towards the Gulf of California. So 6 to 10 day temperature outlook, you can kind of see this above normal for Northern California. It's probably a product of that ridge kind of nosing in here a little bit there, kind of near normal signal here for Southern California. Then we go to the 6 to 10 day, and again, don't like to see that signal there, but there it is. Probably, again, a product of that ridge. A wide swath of above normal, June 4th through 8th across a lot of the plains. But yeah, interesting stuff here, huh? And I'm looking through my comments this morning. I do read the comments. I don't get a chance to reply to all of them here, but keep them coming. It helps with the algorithm of the channel, gets the word out to more people and whatnot as well. So anyway, I hope you guys are having a good day. Otherwise, click like and subscribe. We will do this all again tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys then.